My name is Bridget Walsh.
And I'm Johnny Metropolis.
And we are doing Higher Mental Functions of the Human Brain. Well, what are the functions of the human brain? According to my research, there are 4 lobes of the human brain: the frontal lobe, the parietal lobe, the temporal lobe, and the occipital lobe, and each one serves a specific function. Excellent point, Dorothy Ann. Furthermore, the functions of each lobe are even more specialized based on if they're on the left or the right side of the brain. Let's dive in and take a look. First stop, the frontal lobe.
What does the frontal lobe do?
Can anyone help Ralphie with major functions of the frontal lobe? From what I've been reading, the frontal lobe has many functions, ranging from speech production and initiating motor movement to organization and planning.
You said the left and right sides have more specialized functions. How are they different in the frontal lobe?
Well, the right lobe is more involved in cognition tasks like memory and planning and attention, while the left is more focused on language and speech production. And a lot of these functions aren't fully developed until your late 20s. A good example is how Ralphie forgot to turn in his math assignment yesterday.
Oh, Ralphie!
Very funny, guys. But what actually happens when something goes wrong in the frontal lobe?
The book says that there is something called frontal lobe syndrome, which is when intelligence and memory are intact, but a person's personality will change and they might have a short temper. Overall, though, damage to the frontal lobe would result in profound alterations in behavior, motivation, and drive. Very good, students! Let's move more posterior to the parietal lobe. Who can tell me the functions of the parietal lobe? According to my research, there are 2 parietal lobes, one on the right side and one on the left side of the brain. Very good, Dorothy Ann. Who can tell me the functions of each side?
Well, according to Dorothy Ann's notes, the left side is more concerned with speech, language, writing, and math, while the right side is responsible for visual spatial abilities like drawing and construction.
And damage to the right side would make it hard to understand humor and sarcasm.
Thanks, Einstein.
No problem. Other issues of the parietal lobe might include a lesion of the right parietal lobe, which might result in neglecting the left side of your body. Whereas a lesion to the left side of the parietal lobe would result in issues like the 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic, also known as agraphia and acalculia. Let's move inferiorly to the temporal lobe. Who wants to start? According to my research, functions of the temporal lobes include sound comprehension and hearing. More specifically, on the left lobe is for language comprehension and verbal memory, while the right temporal lobe processes environmental sounds, music, rhythm, and visual memory. Great job! So what happens when things go wrong here?
A left side lesion could result in Wernicke's aphasia or language comprehension issues, whereas a lesion on the right side would affect appreciation for music and rhythm, as well as nonverbal memory. Also, a lesion on both sides could result in pure word deafness, which is the inability to understand spoken words, but no problems identifying pure tones or environmental sounds.
Oh, great, kids! Let's move to the most posterior lobe, the occipital lobe. Okay, welcome to our final stop. Who can tell us about the occipital lobe? According to my research, the occipital lobe is the primary visual cortex. A lesion in this cortex may result in contralateral hemianopsia, or the brain's inability to comprehend what the eyes are seeing. A bilateral lesion could result in cortical blindness.
What's that?
Yeah. Hell yeah.